In a small Tennessee river town, where the soil is red and the air smells of pine and memory, an old woman named Mabel Thomas practices root work, the ancient art of healing and protection passed down through generations. Her hands know the feel of herbs, prayers, and earth, and her faith runs deep as the river that borders her home. Her son, Ellis, weary from years of struggle, dreams of selling their land to a developer promising jobs and progress. But Mabel knows the ridge they own holds more than dirt and timber. It holds graves, promises, and the restless memory of their ancestors. One rainy morning, Ellis tells Mabel about the mayor's new plan to rezone the riverfront. Mabel, steady and unyielding, warns him that some things money cannot measure. Her granddaughter, Ruthie Mae, listens in silence, drawn to her grandmother's power, but also to the modern world her father longs for. At a town meeting, the smooth-talking Mayor Jenkins, with the support of Deacon Hayes, preaches progress, while Mabel stands among the townsfolk and reminds them that the past has roots deeper than profit. Her words stir unease. Some nod in agreement, others whisper which. That night, in her kitchen lit only by candlelight, Mabel ties roots into a charm and presses it into Ruthie's palm. "Carry this," she says. "Don't give it to anyone who doesn't know how to listen." The next day, Mabel visits the old graveyard on the ridge, her family's resting ground, and buries a small jar near a weathered stone, whispering words older than the town itself. As the development plans advance, tension grows. At school, Ruthie speaks about her grandmother's root work, drawing curiosity from her teacher, Lena Carter, an outsider with a scientific mind but an open heart. Meanwhile, a young drifter named Tommy Joe befriends Ellis and Ruthie, offering Ellis a chance to leave town and Ruthie a glimpse of the wider world. The church, led by Deacon Hayes, stokes fear about Mabel's influence, spreading rumors that her charms and prayers are curses. Leaflets appear calling her dangerous. When the developer's men arrive at night to stake the ridge, Mabel confronts them calmly, her voice carrying through the dark like a hymn. A worker laughs at her warning, and moments later, he stumbles and falls into a tangle of roots. The men flee, unsettled. Whether it's accident or power, no one can tell. Ellis, frightened for his family, begs Mabel to leave town. "Wherever you go," she tells him, "the marrow of you goes with you. You can run, but the wake follows." Ruthie, torn between love for her grandmother and fascination with the world beyond, writes in her journal by candlelight. Tommy Joe calls to her from the porch, whispering about city lights and freedom. She hesitates, Mabel's warnings echoing in her ears. The river remembers. When the council finally votes, Ellis stands before the crowd and, against his own fears, speaks from his heart. He says they cannot sell the ridge, not when it holds their history and their dead. But behind closed doors, the mayor and deacon make their own deals, exchanging envelopes in a dark back room. Ruthie overhears and understands that greed has many disguises. One evening, Mabel discovers that someone has dug up the jar she buried on the ridge long ago. Kneeling in the disturbed soil, she feels both fury and sorrow. She begins to sing, an old binding song carried by the wind. Ruthie appears at the edge of the clearing, watching her grandmother commune with the earth. "If you break the bones of the earth," Mabel says softly, "it remembers you." That night, masked men, sent by the deacon, arrive at Mabel's home, shouting accusations of witchcraft. Ellis tries to stop them, but violence brews. Tommy Joe steps in front of Mabel, defending her. In the struggle, his shirt tears, revealing the deacon's ring in one attacker's pocket, proof of the churchman's betrayal. The crowd hesitates, shame washing over them. The mayor, sensing scandal, orders the men to stand down. Mabel is left bruised but unbroken, her dignity intact. At dawn, Mabel and Ruthie sit by the river. Lena joins them with herbs, tending Tommy Joe's wounds. Mabel tells Ruthie about a promise buried long ago, a vow to keep the water clean and the land respected. "The earth speaks in its own tongue," she says. "We just listen." News of the attack spreads. At the next council meeting, Ellis speaks again, his voice steady and strong. "We can't let fear decide our future," he says. The new vote comes, and this time, the rezoning fails by a single vote. The ridge is saved. The town erupts in relief, some cheering, others quietly humbled. That evening, Mabel hosts a small gathering at her house. Laughter fills the air. Ruthie dances with Lena. Ellis repairs a chair. Tommy Joe, bruised but smiling, hums an old tune. Mabel steps onto the porch alone, opening a small wooden box. Inside lies the old jar she once buried, still sealed. She takes out a faded scrap of paper, a vow written by her younger self, and sets it gently on the windowsill beside a candle. Months later, the sapling they planted on the ridge grows tall. Children learn to plant herbs by the river. The developer is gone. Life in the town continues, altered but whole. Mabel sits on her porch, slower now, watching Ruthie run through the yard with a jar of river water, laughter echoing like music. Ellis works quietly nearby, and Tommy Joe passes by on his way to work, tipping his hat to Mabel. The world, Mabel thinks, will always try to make you choose between bread and bone. But sometimes, if you tend them with the same hands, you can keep both. She closes her eyes and listens, to the river, to the soil, to the quiet song of roots beneath her feet, and the story of Tennessee, of blood, land, and remembrance, goes on.